Hi everyone, it's Vice Terry here. Today's topic is about streaming. It can be either streaming on Twitch, it can be streaming on YouTube, it doesn't really matter what platform. But what I want to talk about is how streaming affects gaming, in sense that does it affect the way streamers play the games at all, and what are pros and what are cons, I guess, from my point of view. So this topic came to my mind by watching a stream. I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to call anyone out. but I watched the stream, and the person's stream I watched was playing Black Desert Online, which is a very grindy MMORPG. And while watching the stream, the streamer was talking about how in Black Desert Online it's so easy to grind, so enjoyable, the game is enjoyable, and so on and so on. And I just thought for the players who are in the chat and maybe don't know how grindy the game actually can be, I just wanted to say that I think Black Desert Online's grinding 10 hours a day, let's say so, wouldn't be so enjoyable if you are not making money by doing it. And actually, the streamer reacted to it surprisingly, I would say, a little bit negatively. He kinda started defending that he's playing the game outside of the stream too and doing this and that, and it has nothing to do with the stream. But, let's be honest. I mean, of course, he can say so, he can say whatever, but I'm pretty sure the fact that someone is streaming a game can definitely make them play the game differently, especially when they are already at the point where they can make money by streaming. The reason is very simple, right? If you are streaming a game, then you are making money by doing it. So, one negative thing that comes with it is that you need to be there either at certain times or you need to be there long enough and you need to keep things interesting enough. You need to, I guess, give people enough content so that they want to come and see your stream, they want to stick around and so on. So, I guess these kind of things can somewhat sometimes take away from your enjoyment of the game you are playing if you sometimes have to do something more than you feel like it, or if you, for the content, have to do something a bit differently than you would do outside of the stream. But definitely the positive side to it is that if you know, for example, you are grinding 8 hours in a row, of course it can be still tiring. But first of all, if you are talking to the people in your stream, it makes time pass by much quicker, and it just makes it easier to grind in that sense. I understand you can do it the same way outside of stream by watching something on the second screen or whatever, but my point is that the streaming itself is definitely adding to it, making it easier to play a game for long hours, do something tedious in the game. Because, for example, if I know I'm grinding in Black Desert Online for, let's say, 3 hours in a row, doing something repetitive, something that I feel is slightly tedious, of course, the Black Desert Online has an amazing combat system and so on. But if I'm just running in circles doing the same combos for 3 hours in a row, no change, I cannot imagine who thinks it's so interesting, it's so much fun. Maybe in the early days it is, but if you have been doing the same things for many months or even many years in a row, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, of course. This really could be interesting to someone. I just cannot imagine how come. But my point is that if I would know that I'm making money by doing it, of course, I understand the streamer's income is not fixed, maybe, but the more they are playing, the more they are online, the more they are doing something and so on, the higher the chance that they can actually earn or keep earning the money, right? So in that sense, if the streamer has reached a point where they are already making money by playing a game, then it makes it much easier to do something. Either you like it or not is not the question, but you're making money by doing it. I'm going to work and doing maybe things at work 8 hours a day, things that I don't really want to do otherwise, but I'm doing it because I'm making money. And by making money, I'm willing to do those things, right? So, of course, by making money, it doesn't mean that I enjoy those things necessarily much more, but to some extent, it does matter. So, let's say I'm doing the same activity for 3 hours in a row at work. Let's say it's something tedious or boring or whatever, but if I'm doing that same activity for, let's say, $2, €2, or whatever the currency an hour versus 10 times more, I think the feeling I have inside me would be totally different. And the way I approach this activity would be totally different. If I know I'm being paid well enough, I would definitely feel much more motivated because I know I have something to look forward to in the end. That payment, so to say, at least. And this will keep my mood up and so on. But if I know I'm doing something to barely survive or whatever, basically almost wasting my time, then it would feel much worse, right? So definitely, I think it does affect enjoyment levels if you are making money versus not. So in that sense, I totally understand why some streamers can and are willing to do some tedious activities in games. For example, in Black Desert Online, grind sometimes 5 hours in a row, 10 hours in a row. It totally makes sense if they can make money by doing so. But if they wouldn't be able to make any money, I think a very small percentage would still grind like crazy. They may have some other reasons to do so too. But still, I think for the majority of the streamers, just the fact that they can make money by doing so, they are making a living. They don't have to worry about how they can pay their bills after they have played the game 5 or 10 hours a day. This definitely makes the feeling towards it different. You know that by playing this game, it helps you basically to pay your bills versus not. Like having that worry to survive versus not, it's completely different feeling. And this definitely affects enjoyment levels. So in that sense, I was quite surprised that the streamer kind of denied it. I mean, I do understand that those people would probably enjoy those same games outside of the stream too. I'm not saying that's not the case, but to say that the stream has nothing to do with it, it doesn't affect it at all, this is something I just cannot believe is true. Anyway, this kind of thoughts let me know what do you think about it, and that's it for today. See you, take care, bye.